Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. It's Lucy here again from Designs for Growth. Today, I'm going to be talking to the wonderful Finola Howard, growth strategist extraordinaire. We're going to do a live, and I'm going to let Finola in. Just wait for her to pop on. Here we go. Ah, it worked. The wonders of technology.
I love when it works.
I don't really trust these things. I don't know. As a tech person, I should, but I'm like, how does it actually work? Anyway, hello, Finola.
You think of yourself as a tech person?
Huh?
You think of yourself as a tech person?
Not really, but people think I'm a tech person because I do websites. But yeah, not really tech person.
We're a multi-dimensional human being. That's it.
Exactly. Well, amazing to have you on this morning. Thank you so much for joining me. We haven't done this in a while, so it's
So long.
great to catch up, and I'm hoping you'll share some of your nuggets of wisdom.
I hope they're nuggets too. Who knows what might happen?
Why don't you start by telling us who you are, what you do, and who you love to work with?
Oh, okay. So my name is Finola Howard. I am a growth strategist with a joyful heart. And that's very deliberate positioning, because I really believe that if we work from a place of joy, we end up working from a place of genius. And if we use that as our compass, success is inevitable without burnout. Important.
Fantastic. And who do you love to work with? Who's your ideal client, Finola?
Joyful people. No. So I work with people who want to take their business to the next level, who know there's more inside them and want to tap into it. They're not quite sure how to do that. So that can be from loads of different perspectives. One, it could be that they haven't quite identified their point of difference. That's a very common one, their uniqueness, or they've got like many different aspects to themselves and they don't know how to communicate it. I work with larger organizations who haven't quite got that, again, uniqueness, that point of difference, that positioning about how they can stand out in the marketplace. Because remember, entrepreneurs are doers. So we invariably do the things that we love doing and that we are really good at in our areas of specialty. But entrepreneurs are not always great marketers. So I'm helping them tap into what is it that you want to achieve in the business? What is it about you that's different, even if you don't know quite yet? Because often it's the deep listening that I do and the work that helps me uncover that. And then we shape it into a way that the market can hear it, see it, feel it, buy from you.
Excellent. Well, so that's great, because we're here to talk today about how the most successful business are the ones that start by dreaming before building. So I get a lot of people coming to me looking for me to build out their brand, their visual brand, build out their website and so on. And 9 times out of 10, they jump over that dreaming bit and the work that you do. So that's why I have you on today. And I want to talk about that idea of the importance of dreaming before building. So if I say that phrase to you, what does that?
I think we've got to dream and to build. When we have the two of them together, that's where the magic happens. If you build without dreaming, then you build from a cap on you, a limit, a self-imposed limit on you. And that limit comes from all the things that you've just done before and all that you can only see now. What we're trying to do from a growth perspective is always to imagine what's possible and to also create space for impossible, the things that we haven't thought of. Because when you spend time expanding your thinking process and expanding what is possible or what if could happen, then you set a different trajectory than doing the pedestrian and in the weeds bit. Because if you're just in the weeds going, I do X, Y, and Z, so I will do this step 1, step 2, step 3, that's where you'll stay. You will stay where you are in the known space. But if you want to grow, you're always growing to a space that's not known because it's not yet lived. So therefore, we're automatically imagining and dreaming. And I always like to simplify. And we do this in the Brand Accelerator program. It's this idea of what if. What if I could? What if this happens? What if I could work with this client? What would that do to my business? What if I owned this space? What if I was an amazing speaker on stages all over the world? Or what if I could access the American market by speaking on stages there? How would I do that? So it's getting you to move from where you are to unlock the potential that you haven't quite realized is there yet.
And so what would you say to people who just kind of go, yeah, but like I sell mortgages. Like there's nothing, I do what it says on the tin. That's what I do. Why I'm dreaming? Why do I need to dream? What would you say to people who are just like, that's
You
different?
sell these. So first of all, I want to know what kind of business is it? Is this a business that is a single mortgage broker? Are they working for a larger organization? But dreaming comes with mortgages. That's having people have their dream home, having them have a better life. We dream there. And if you see any advertising in this space, they are allowing people, are courting people into, encouraging people into imagining the future home that they could live in. Sure, that's dreaming. You see that on ads all the time. Everything we do that's about changing the nature of the game involves a dream.
Amazing. And so, but why do you think so many business owners skip over this or give themselves this space? Because it's not like you dream once at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey and that's it. You know, you and I know that you revisit that dream periodically as the business
all the time
evolves.
because we work off the premise. Well, first of all, to answer your question, right? I think people are afraid to dream. We're afraid to want something greater than ourselves. And often we're afraid because you get into who am I to do that? And then also, well, if I dream this and maybe if I say this is my dream, and what if I don't get it? But you know what? Who cares if you don't get it? Like, there's a couple of different things. One, if you dream it and then create a plan to achieve that, then you do achieve the dream. Two, if you dream it, you don't quite get the plan right, you're still in a better place than you were without the dreaming. So, like, I like both of those scenarios. I don't like to lead with, so what if you don't reach it, which I just did. But anyway, you know, they say that thing of shoot for the moon and reach the stars or whatever it is. They're all in the same space. It's kind of funny analogy, but anyway, but we need to move to another place. To grow in a business, we've got to dream. And we have to do that again and again and again. And this is why, even from a planning perspective, dreaming when you're thinking about 5-year plans. I always talk about 5-year plans because it allows you to push beyond the everyday. If you stay in the everyday, that's where you'll stay. And too many times, entrepreneurs, and often from fear or from maybe being overwhelmed or also from maybe too many voices in their heads, ended up staying in the same place. And they wake up one morning and 10 years have passed and they're still there. So I'm like, why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? So we were put on this planet to achieve our potential. Why are we not working towards achieving that potential? And if there's a naysayer that says, oh, sure, that's just fluff and all that. Well, what is the alternative if we're not here to make a difference? What is the alternative? Do you think that we are here as our purpose in our lives is to take out the garbage and to send our kids to school and to... Is that it? Is that really it? And I find that people who start to develop this thing of wanting more, you start to go, is that it? But what if? You've got to move from is that it or accepting the status quo. And this is what is beautiful about entrepreneurship is that is this ability to manifest things, to actually create something greater. And that's the entire nature of entrepreneurship, is to take an idea and make it real. And that starts with a dream.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. You don't stop often enough and think about all this stuff and think of the bigger picture. But that idea of is that it? You know, we hear that. Well, I hear that a lot, particularly if there's people leaving their corporate backgrounds because they've hit a point in their life and they're like, am I going to do this for the next 10, 20 years? Is that it? And am I going to be able to fulfill my potential if I keep doing this? So, and I know
and the other one is, what are you waiting for? Like, really, why are you waiting? Like, is next year going to be different? Really? Why not now? Why not now? What does it cost to say, why not now? Why can I have a different life now? And the way to have a different life now is to change how you think about your life. And to realize that you have the power over your own life and the power to choose what you do with that life. And sometimes that choice, the first choice, is to dream and to imagine the possibilities and to be around other people who will feed that, who will surround you with that belief that, yes, this is possible. Yeah. Yes, this is possible. Yes, this is possible. We will then counter that. I always counter that going, and it's with a non-judgmental counter. Yes, you can have that. But what are you willing to do to get it? And it's what are you willing to do to get it without judgment? Because normally that phrase is used with a stick to go, you've got to work hard, you've got to hustle. No, no, no. It's what is appropriate in your life with the resources that you have, that you are willing to do and put into this dream. And then you start to go, okay, have I got a fit? Have I got a little sweet spot here of my dream and what I'm willing to do? Maybe my dream could be bigger. Maybe because I'm willing to do X. Maybe my dream will take longer. Maybe I need to scale it a little bit back because this is what I'm willing to do. So it is this fit. I don't believe in burnout.
Yes, but I also know you're very pragmatic in this work that you do, whether it's, you know, as part of the Brand Accelerator program that I run or with your one-to-one clients, is that you're also very well, you look at the market. It's all very well to dream and so on, but actually, is there a market for what you want to do? Can you make money out of it? And that
who's the customer?
Yeah,
I want to know who's the customer and do they want it? And often when somebody has a dream or a unique point of difference or a positioning piece, like the thing that they want to do, it comes from their own backstory. It comes from a lived experience that, and often there are other people like that they have found the solution for. So what we're doing is we're tapping into that. But we have to find that alignment of the dream, the uniqueness, the marketplace, who's the customer. Now, how will you package that thing that you do into something that is purchasable, something that they want to spend money on, that will give them the transformation that they want? So we're drawing this really important red thread through all of the decisions strategically in the business, from dream to, and I really do start with dream going, and often, very often, I say, well, that's how you're doing it. That's not a dream. Like this, you've heard me talk about purpose, mission, vision before. And so purpose is why you're doing something, which is like your backstory, the reason you started this, and your dream for making the world a little bit better. How will you do that? Is that, what kind of products do you provide? What services do you provide? Is there a methodology that you used? And then vision is, what does success look like tangibly? So that means what customer, what kind of turnover levels do you want to achieve within this period of time? But the very pragmatic, give me evidence of what success looks like. Then we move into things like, okay, we've really kind of framed of what are the products, who are the customers, who is that customer, and do you know their pain points in their language so that we can actually bring that into alignment? So when we start communicating on our websites, in our brands, everywhere, we are speaking directly to the customer from their perspective in a way that makes it possible for you to get your dream. But we start with a dream and then we get extremely pragmatic and methodical about what you do. Because that's how you make dreams real. You don't disconnect stuff. You bring the pragmatic and the imagination together to create, to manifest something very amazing and magical.
Yeah.
And your potential. This is how you reach your potential. And you have to take a leap of faith to do that. But not only do you have to take a leap of faith, you have to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, and can you give an example of somebody you've worked with who's done this work and then the transformation or the outcome or how they're running their business today or the difference that it's made to their business? Can you think of anybody?
All the time. So I'm just thinking of somebody who's in the fitness space and they were working on, so they are a fitness instructor. And I have to be careful because I don't want to give identities away. So, but always there's a transformation, but mostly the transformation comes from clarity, right? So this is a fitness instructor who was figuring it out on her own, very sharp, very clever, really loved her vibe and a really unique perspective on weight loss and fitness. And part of that was imagining what was possible for her business. Then we looked at, well, maybe the model's not quite right. And maybe how the website is presented isn't quite honed enough that speaks directly to the customer and what they need. So we would have worked on honing, packaging differently, pricing differently, really honing in on who exactly is that customer and what is their pain point. Does the product match the pain point? And then have we got a really good system of marketing that with that our buyer journey related content that actually converts the sales? And she has moved her business exponentially as a result. But so you see this idea of, you know, positioning and dreaming and imagining goes straight into the pragmatic, the communication, the messaging, everything, the whole way through, but it's with a single red thread bringing it along.
Well, that's why I created the Brand Accelerator program, because you know, you need all the elements. You need to start with the dream. You need to everything that you've just spoken about through to the what does that look like? What stories do you tell? How do you design and craft your website and for that customer? Oh, everything you've just mentioned, and all the rest that goes with it, copy polishing and all the added features and benefits. Because you know this, we realize that there's a need for people to see that red, to understand the red thread, and to make sure that all the elements are in alignment and that they're not sort of doing this bit of work over here and oh, now I have to go and speak to, you know, gotta find a photographer who's also going to want to talk about my brand. It's like, no, it's okay. Yeah. We're just stay on track with us, you know.
What the Brand Accelerator is doing is creating a straight line in an entrepreneurial journey that's never straight. So that you are methodically, without the overwhelm, following a process that has been mapped in advance that you just have to show up for and do the work. So you don't have to think about all the other stuff, because entrepreneurship is quite challenging because we're inundated with information and it can create decision fatigue. Like it can be overwhelming and you can't decide what to do. So with a program like this, you can take a journey that is step by step by step, a straight line to get to the end point. So, yeah.
Yeah, and cool. Then a lot of the feedback we get is around the work that's done in the initial weeks, which is obviously where you come in around this, taking the time to dream and to think what's next for my business, and
to choose customers. Remember, we do that very early on.
In yes, absolutely. But
I guess customers, we talk about revenue potential. We map the revenue potential for the business, like all that. Don't forget that. Dreaming, yes, but we've got to be pragmatic with what's the product. What's the product journey? Where are you taking them from entry level in, and where you take them on the journey, so that we've got a revenue model that makes sense for you. And then that means that you are fully equipped with a positioning piece that when you do go to Eva to get your brand photography done, you know exactly what you want to do in that brand photography, because you know the campaigns you're going to run. Exactly.
And you can write your website with clarity and knowing what you're doing, and you can just shut out the rest. And it's a great opportunity to, as you say, follow the journey and do the work. And it's quite a simple process. It's not easy because there is work that needs to be done, but it just means that you can just shut out all that noise and follow the journey. And but that having that space to stop and think, well, where am I going to take the business? That's appreciated by a lot of people who've been on the program, because they don't get that. We're all in doing mode a lot of the time. So it just sort of creates that safe place with feedback from you and me and the other people in the program. And it's just an opportunity to go, okay, am I going in the right direction?
And sometimes if I reflect on people who've been the program before, some of that feedback has been, you're thinking too small. Like, the problem with entrepreneurs is never that they think too big. It's often that you need to think bigger, and then you need to do the work. Because the dreamers without the doing is not a viable business. There is that reality here.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, well, thank you for that. Amazing. Do you want to mention your book? Because I know you said earlier on you were talking about what if and why not. Yeah, you mention your book while we're on.
What if joy was how you measured success? Why am I reading it? I should know it. What if joy was how you measured success and the money proved you right? That's for getting rid of all the shit that's in your head that's blocking your growth. That's what that's for. Recommended
Fantastic.
reading.
Yeah, yeah. I recommend it all the time. Okay, so I'm hope next Brand Accelerator program kicks off at the end of August. So if anybody would
That
love to
means
do
it's
this.
set for September. I love it.
Yeah, no, perfect. And this is a 12-week program, so it's not going to take you a year. It's a defined period of time. You do all this work. I have this great team with people like Finola, and it's a fantastic opportunity to take your business to the next level, take your brand to the next level, and move from that kind of disparate marketing or disparate messaging, or perhaps a website that you've outgrown, and really just level everything up. So if you're watching this and you'd love to work with Finola and me and be part of this program, just reach out to me. I'm taking applications, as I say, at the moment for the end of the next cohort. It's going to kick off at the end of August for 12 weeks, and we can have a chat and see if it's a good fit. And in the meantime, follow Finola, get her book, listen to her podcast. She's amazing. I send all my clients to her. And thank you today for Finola for today. It's been
Lovely
a
to
pleasure.
catch up.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you so much.
Take
Talk
care.
to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.